need to jump live probably sitting out now.
Yeah.
Charlie got a better deal.
Okay, y'all ready? Katie. Dan.
Yeah, she don't want
I'll grab one.
Is she here? Anna?
She was running 2 minutes late. You look cute.
Thank you.
You tell. What's wrong with you? So I cannot open.
Yeah,
You can't either? The
second
second one?
version.
Okay. All right. It's not
I don't
just
know
me.
what it was.
Oh, it just opened. It opens now. We're gonna wait for Dan to go. You can go. Good evening and welcome back. Welcome to our August 3rd session of the Zebulon Board of Commissioners meeting. This meeting is now called to order. Please join us as Commissioner Roa leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we will ask Commissioner Adams to lead us in a moment of invocation and prayer. Commissioner Adams.
For you, thank you for this moment you've given us. Thank you, God, for blessing us on this evening, God. We ask you, God, to have your way in this place, God. Cover us with your blood, protect us and keep us, God. We bless and praise you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Adams. And our advisory statement. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Before we begin tonight's meeting, I would like to take a moment to set the tone for how we will conduct ourselves this evening. As elected officials, staff, and community members, we all share a responsibility to ensure these meetings remain respectful, productive, and centered on serving the people of our town. We recognize that there may be differing opinions, passionate perspectives, and difficult conversations, but we ask that all comments and interactions be made with professionalism, courtesy, and civility. To the public, thank you for your engagement and participation in local government. Your voice matters, and we ask that speakers remain respectful, follow the established time limits, and direct comments to the board as a whole rather than individuals personally. To my fellow board members, I ask that we continue to lead by example, listening intentionally, speaking thoughtfully, and treating one another, staff, and residents with dignity, respect, even in disagreement. Healthy discussions strengthen our community when it is rooted in mutual respect and a shared commitment to progress. We are all here because we care deeply about this town and its future. So let's conduct tonight's meeting in a way that reflects the values of Zebulon community and the trust our residents have placed in us. Thank you. And now we'll move to the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes that we need to make, board? If
From consent, annexation application fee waiver. That's on the planning A.
you want to pull it and
Yes, ma'am. Let's put it up to new business.
okay. So we'll pull consent A planning to old business A. Madam Clerk, you got that?
Yes.
Okay. Any other changes? Now, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And now we will have public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
I did not have any on the website, but we have 2 signed up here.
Sheet.
Jessica Best.
All right. At this time, we have 2 people for public comment. Our first public comment, Jessica Best. Please state your name and address for the record.
Sure. That's okay. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jessica Best, and I reside at 1099 Channel Drop Loop in Sydney Creek, one of the newer subdivisions. So I'm speaking tonight as a program manager, a risk management professional, and a systems thinker. I'm here to share an impact analysis based on a data-driven risk assessment regarding the town's current fiscal trajectory and its correlation to our rapid infrastructure growth. According to the recent state auditor's report, the municipal operations are facing a structural deficit along a clear need for stronger internal governance guardrails and procurement processes. To balance the current operational deficit, the board voted to reallocate from long-term capital reserves into general operations. While this does handle the immediate budget on paper, delaying critical capital projects creates long-term structural risk for our expanding town. As a resident on the eastern flank of Zebulon, where our borders are tightly constrained by the Johnston County line, this infrastructure delay introduces significant operational vulnerabilities. We have already permitted hundreds of new single-family homes in master plan developments like Old Bund Road, Zebulon South, and Barrington. However, adding further residential density while pausing the safety infrastructure needed to support it introduces a resource imbalance. Furthermore, a geographical assessment reveals that we are rapidly running out of land inside of Wake County line. With less than 1,000 buildable acres of uncommitted vacant land remaining, if we permit traditional low-density subdivisions to consume this final footprint, we permanently limit Zebulon's long-term revenue potential. Therefore, rather than halting progress, we implore both the town and our development partners to revisit the integration of high-density, mixed-use zoning frameworks on pending projects. While we recognize that pivoting to a mixed-use model may lengthen the initial project timeline for builders, continuing to build standard single-family homes will place new and existing residents under an immediate infrastructure strain. Over time, residential property taxes alone simply cannot mathematically sustain the long-term utility, road, and public safety debt created by a suburban sprawl. From a systems perspective, our limited remaining acreage must be strategically prioritized for light industrial logistics, commercial flex space, and mixed-use condo hubs. These frameworks maximize our commercial property tax and local sales tax yields per square foot, generating the robust, diversified revenue required to eliminate the operational deficit. Currently, the guardrails that are working to be put in place, I would love to offer to help with that, as my profession is risk and program management for over the last 15 years. To accelerate this transition and actively reduce the deficit, the town can introduce innovative infrastructure frameworks that place direct ownership back into the hands of our residents. For example, hiring trained professionals as staff who are equipped to handle town maintenance would allow for a more responsive model versus opening an RFP for town structural issues. Also, by utilizing a public-private open access infrastructure model, the town can own the underlying digital conduits while allowing community-led, subscriber-owned utility cooperatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jessica. Ms. Best. Ms. Best, if you would like to please email your public comment to our town clerk so that we can share it amongst the board and with the public. Thank you. And we have someone else signed up for public comment.
Mrs. Scott Carpenter.
Mr. Carpenter, please come to my podium to my left. State your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Scott Carpenter, and I live in downtown Zebulon. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Citizens want to be heard. They want to be respected. They want access to public information, and they are offering solutions. Let's look at the facts. At the June 22nd budget hearing, citizens filled Town Hall when 35 spoke for more than an hour. They requested stronger governance, oversight, accountability, and better information. Not one person spoke in favor of the budget. This board responded by adding another $100,000 to the budget and approving it by a 4-to-1 vote, leaving many residents feeling unheard. 41 days ago, I submitted a public records request. 5 items remain incomplete and 15 items remain completely unanswered. I requested existing records supporting budgets, expenditures, and audits, information that should have been available to every citizen before the budget hearing, so the public could provide informed input before the vote. 13 days ago, I submitted an unsolicited report offering 41 recommendations to strengthen the town's response to the state auditor's findings through better governance, transparency, and accountability. 210 days ago, a citizen was gavelled before completing his public comments. To my knowledge, he has never been invited back to finish what he had to say. Those are not isolated events. They reflect the same underlying concern. Citizens want a local government that is transparent, accessible, accountable, and respectful of every citizen. Today, many no longer believe that they have that. Trust will not be restored through speeches, prepared statements, crisis management meetings, photo opportunities, or taxpayer-funded travel. It will be restored by being good stewards of taxpayer dollars, respecting citizens, increasing transparency, and delivering measurable results. That's how confidence is rebuilt. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Madam Clerk, are there any, you said there are no emailed?
No, there was
Okay.
not.
All right, thank you. There are no other public comments. I would like to now take a moment to introduce our interim town clerk. Tonight, the Board of Commissioners would like to introduce our new interim town clerk, Mrs. Kim Worley, who has been with us for 5 years now. I'm just saying. 1 week. She has transitioned over, and Ms. Worley, we want to welcome you on behalf of myself and the entire board and our community. Thank you for your willingness to serve, and we look forward to working with you as we transition over. So thank you and welcome to Zebulon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And now our consent agenda. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Is everyone fine with the meeting schedule? I have no changes. I just want to make sure that everyone is okay with the meeting schedule. Okay, then I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
And we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And now we will move to our presentation. Director Lauer.
Good evening, Commissioners. The presentation this evening is about building the next phase of Zebulon's growth. But I have to start by saying that the next phase of Zebulon's growth really starts with the people who help administer the day-to-day operations within the planning department. And I'm pleased to share that our planning department is back at a full staff in terms of planners. And our newest one is here. Ms. Brooke Cogmani is here. This is her 3rd week, 4th week. And so...
Hold on, Matt. We have to welcome Brooke. Well, Brooke, we would like to welcome you to the town of Zebulon. Thank you so much for being here. You have a pretty cool supervisor over here sometimes. Nah, go ahead, Matt. Thank you.
So I'm very grateful to have this staff that I have. As most people in this room are aware, we process a lot of permits and we do a lot of thinking about growth. And I'm just so grateful to have the staff I have to help me do this and help move this community forward. The big message for the next phase of Zebulon growth can really be broken down into 4 parts. The first phase, the first part of the message really is that growth is here, and in many ways the die has been cast. But we do now have a housing study that provides some much needed insight into the nature of this growth. Secondly, we understand that housing choice, and really choice in general, matters in a growing community. A community should serve residents who are 8 and should serve residents who are 80 in the same way. We call this 80 cities. The third big message is that lifestyle priorities are an amenity. We're strong partners with all of the communities in our region. And to some extent, we also compete for residents and for businesses. And so having amenities that continue to enhance life in Zebulon will continue to make Zebulon more attractive to investors, to people moving here, and retain legacy residents as well. And the fourth part of our big message is that partnership is essential. Everything today is a public-private partnership, and if we can all work together to leverage the strengths of Town Hall, the strengths of our business community, the strengths of our nonprofit community, and so on and so forth, we can create a rising tide that lifts all boats. Just quick by the numbers here, Zebulon's current population, by our own internal estimates, is over 14,000 people. The number I was reported today was 14.2 and some change. This reflects about 133% growth since 2010. This is an enormous amount of growth. Within this growth, though, two things have occurred. Our median household income has increased to about $90,000 per household, and the median home price, at least when this snapshot was taken, was slightly under $500,000. One thing that makes Zebulon very unique, though, compared to our peers, not just in Wake County, but truly in any growing metro across the Sun Belt, is that we're one of the few suburban communities that imports workers during the day. So 1,100 people come to Zebulon, 1,100 more people come to Zebulon to work and leave Zebulon to go to work. This is because we have some unusually strong high-tech manufacturing base in GlaxoSmithKline and Omako and Advanced Plastiforms, as well as the U.S. Foods distribution center as well. So this is a unique opportunity, and it shows that in terms of capturing residents and capturing new growth and directing it in a way that it can benefit everybody. There's definitely folks that would probably want to stop fighting traffic and move to Zebulon and create a community that can capture some of these commuters. When we look at our what's in our permitting pipeline right now, we have approximately 3,000 home sites, and these are every kind of units. When we say home site, I really mean from single-family homes to townhomes to apartments. We have 3,000 in the pipeline. About 1,000 of these are on the ground now, meaning you could, in theory, buy the lot. 2,000 are not. 2,000 are in some form of construction design phase. We follow the trend. That's about 20,000 people in 2030. And our housing study that provides the first real robust framework we've had to understand what this growth is, projects our 5-year housing demand somewhere between 3,400 and 5,600 units. So if you look at that, those 3,000 units that we already have in the pipeline satisfies the bottom end of that 5-year demand. What does this mean? This means that the types of proposals that we believe, the planning department believes that we're going to see over the next couple of years are probably not going to be large 600-700 home master plan subdivisions, but they're going to be smaller things. There's going to be more infill. There's going to be product that helps meet that number in red, that existing affordable housing gap. And what I mean by affordable housing is I mean housing that's affordable to somebody or to a household that makes 80% of the AMI or less. So within this understood housing demand, we know that there's about 1,400 units that need to be built in some fashion to meet the demand of our lower income and emerging residents. The market has not been delivering this. So if you look at what's been built in Zebulon since 2014, 80% of that has been single-family homes. And currently 73% of our housing stock is single-family homes. You can see the impact of this on renters in Zebulon. So there's been 0 3-bedroom multifamily rentals built since 2010. I understand that this is a difficult product to finance, but it's also considered the gold standard in terms of affordable family rentals. This has also pushed up our renter household cost burden. Solely by the numbers, we're one of the most cost-burdened communities in the nation for renters. 80% of our renters are cost-burdened. What that means is that 80% of those who rent a housing unit in Zebulon spend more than 30% of their income on that rent. Half of that 80% spend more than 50%. As you drill down in the numbers, it definitely becomes, there's more discussion to be had because we do have some significant, what we call low-income housing senior product, which those folks are on a fixed income. So this isn't necessarily representative of poverty, but is representative of a lack of product to help create upward mobility for families in Zebulon. Another thing that the planning department works with residents and with developers daily on is developing places for folks to go when they move to Zebulon. We're going to add at least 3,000 rooftops. Where are these folks going to go? We hear, everybody in this room hears the same thing, right? There's a demand for more full-service restaurants, for grocery stores, for healthcare, for more childcare, so on and so forth. And walkable places, so families have choices about how to get there. Every car we take off the road when you walk to dinner on a Friday night is a car off the road, right? I will say that Zebulon has, when you look at how commercial developers make decisions about what to build where, up until recently, we were at that absorption rate peak, right? So the amount of grocery stores, the amount of restaurants, for example, certainly met the amount of people we have certainly met that demand. But that's changing now with 3,000 homes. So we are anticipating and beginning to see a surge in commercial development and new amenities. And to help foster the surge, the town is building a predictable framework for growth. And so I'm a big believer that developers don't want less regulation, they want good regulation that removes risk. And that's the approach that the planning department is taking in terms of managing growth in the town of Zebulon. And you see that manifest itself in various ways, from our adopted plans to our nascent economic development strategy to this new housing study that puts a framework to market realities, and to implementation tools that we work with the board at in work sessions, such as UDO updates and so on and so forth, to continue to create a place where developers see a predictable investment environment and a place where there's less risk to invest here versus the communities that we compete with for their dollar. And another way that we foster a predictable investment environment is to approach everything like a partnership, right? Leverage everybody's strengths to create a rising tide that lifts all boats. It's also important as we think about the future of Zebulon's growth to point out where we are now, right? And there's some substantial public and private investment that has occurred in the last 2 years. One of the most visible ones being behind this building here, the $17 million fire and EMS headquarters. There's been substantial investments in parks and recreation, such as Little River Park revitalization, the community park grant that our Parks Department was awarded. There's also been considerable congestion relief measures that are now on the books. This is something that I feel the Planning Department does particularly well. By taking this partnership approach, we're able to leverage developer dollars and interest to create real-time public improvements to mobility and congestion relief. This includes most of the 2024 bond project now being paid for by developer dollars. Reconnecting Jones Street, there'll be substantial improvements to the intersection of 264, 64, and Arundel. This includes the Judd-Arundel signal, which will help even more effectively meter traffic on our most congested intersection. The Gannon Pony Roundabout was paid for by private dollars. That has improved the level of service on Gannon. And importantly, we've expanded transit service to Raleigh. We reconfigured the ZWX bus line, and the ridership on the whole system went from 30 to 130 people, because now the bus stops where people want to go. And so we are expanding our partnership with Go Triangle and with Campo to improve our public transit options and add new choices for residents. On the private sector side, we've also seen significant real estate investment, including Zebulon Gateway Mixed Use, which is the largest commercial investment in Zebulon in 30 years. We've seen some substantial downtown revitalization, and while some prominent storefronts are still vacant, vacancy rate downtown has been slashed in half in 2 years. We've seen major residential developments of various types of urban form, and these include amongst them 9 acres of what we're calling public benefit land. So that's land within the development reserved for something else other than housing. So some will be commercial, some may be a civic use, but this is a particularly successful initiative of the Planning Department when we work with our master plan builders. The Mako Stadium has immense opportunity, and the Devil Dogs completed their first season. And multiple commercial pads are approved or have been built in the past 2 years, including some are built and coming online, 3 quick service restaurants, 3 national gas station chains, the new animal hospital, and Tractor Supply has come online. And what the presence or the interest of national quick service restaurants and gas stations is a broader market signal that Zebulon is open for business, and a lot of times these larger investors won't come until they see these smaller footprint products prove that the market can sustain additional retail operations. And the fact that we're having so much at one time, I think, is a very good sign to speaking to our investment potential. But in the original town site, we're working to merge vision, market, and a predictable framework to jumpstart infill in the town of Zebulon through the small area planning process. And so 3 small areas within traditional Zebulon, if you want to put it that way, downtown, the old Wakefield town site, and West Gannon corridor, will receive additional planning treatment, additional attention from the planning department and from our consultant team to develop a framework to make investment in these 3 priority infill areas, make it more than it would be otherwise without intervention from the town. Now, moving forward in the commission meetings to come, the planning department will give a development update in terms of projects of citywide significance and upcoming joint public hearing items. And so in this presentation, I'm going to do just that. So this is the item that will be subject to the joint public hearing on August 10th. It's called the 9 at West Judd. It's simply 9 townhomes on Judd Street, just next to the fire station, just beyond Bell Street at the fire station. This is a planned development, and so it requires a joint public hearing and legislative action by this board to approve. Our first project of citywide significance that is in its final stages, we're routing final signatures. There's 1 left. That's Zebulon Gateway. This is the $70 million mixed-use town center. Includes about 40,000 square feet of commercial and 240 apartment units. Not all projects of citywide significance, though, are commercial projects or even large residential projects. This is the Shiloh Temple Tabernacle Community Center. This is a local church that's expanding its footprint to about a 6,000 square foot church and community center. It's got an open gym with half-court basketball and some classrooms. And this is occurring on the south end of town off of Primrose Drive. It's actually an Oak Street address, but it's on Primrose Drive. Family Fare has an open application at the old Hardee's building. Family Fare is a gas station convenience store product that has somewhat of a larger box. They have some more items within it. And as the project stands right now, it has 6 pumps, and we're going through rounds of construction drawing projects with them. It's a by right project. The last project of citywide significance that has significant development this past month has been 401 West Gannon condos. This is the empty lot. It looks like there hasn't been anything done there for a while. There were some challenges actually with a power line easement. Those are resolved. These construction drawings are signed, and the vertical home building permits are in the county system right now. I saw them today. So that's 11 condos in a 3-story urban infill kind of format. So there's a lot of diversity and variety in terms of what's going through our permitting process right now. And as things become public record, we want to be able to report that out to the board and begin to show some metrics around our performance too, in terms of how issuing permits and in terms of fiscal capacity and so on and so forth. And so that concludes the update here on the future of Zebulon's growth. And it's a privilege to be here. It's a privilege to serve this community, and hope that there's many great years ahead of helping build Zebulon's future.
Thank you so much, Director Lauer. This was very informative. I appreciate you taking the time. Do we have any questions from the board? Anybody? Anybody? No? Thank you so much. Yep. Nope.
So just to reiterate the projects that you spoke of, those are going to be, those are on the interactive development map for folks to be able to peruse if they're curious about it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And now we are going to do old business A. Matt, that would be you again. This would be the old business that was pulled from consent by Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor Pro Tem.
Just wanted to get understanding why we're waiving that cost map.
Sure. The planning department wrote the memo that you see in your packet in a staff meeting with the mayor and the town manager. The mayor had requested that we put this in front of the board for consideration.
But I'm saying waiving the fee. Why are we waiving the fee? I don't think that's my question.
Oh, I guess I thought that since we were bringing them back before us and we'd had some conversations that it would be something that the board should look at. So we brought it back it can be open for a conversation, but put it in front of the board for a conversation. I don't really, that's.
background, I don't have the authority to waive fees in the fee schedule. So only the board can waive fees.
Correct.
Thank you.
So does anyone have a motion
I
to
do.
approve that item? or-
I'd like to make a motion to approve the application fee waiver for the Phase-In Tract and the Temple Johnson applications.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll vote. Commissioner Baxter? Commissioner Adams? Commissioner Davis?
Favor?
Commissioner Roa?
Favor.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Not in favor.
Motion passes. Thank you. And now we will go to new business. And new business. Manager Crosby?
The first item on new business is to temporarily designate a deputy finance officer for the purposes of pre-audit certification. And I am recommending that Chief Chris Perry be designated as that person. As you all are aware, Bobby Fitz has announced his retirement, and so this will help us as we go through the search process. This is only for pre-audit certification. Later on in the packet, I'll talk to you about CFO services that will be provided temporarily in support of Chief Perry as he serves in this capacity.
Thank you, Manager Crosby. Do we have any questions from the board regarding temporary designation of Deputy Finance Officer?
Yes.
Commissioner Roa?
So I have some concerns that we need to have that fidelity bond for the person signing pre-audits. So do we have one for him already?
We don't have one for him currently, but we will have that in place before, when the new consultant comes on, that's one of the things that we'll be having in place.
So we can't let him start according to the Pre-Audit Act, and I think Dan can tell us, but he can't be appointed and serve until he has a bond. Because then what we're doing as a board is we're allowing him to sign, and nothing against the department head, having him sign and encumber the town in contracts, checks, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and there's no insurance. So if there's something that goes wrong, we can't go after a bond, we can't reclaim it, and it's also an immediate finding in an audit if we have a department without a finance director who's bonded, and we have a deputy director operating, signing pre-audits without a bond. That's also an immediate finding. So that was my concern, is that I don't think that putting someone in there that we can't bond is the right move. I can't support it, certainly, because I'm as a fiduciary, I'm responsible ultimately for the money spent in the town, and if we're putting someone in we can't insure, that's, in my opinion, dangerous. But this is the format to discuss it with the rest of the board to see what they think.
Dan, would you like to respond to Commissioner Roa?
It is a statutory requirement that we have a finance director with a bond in place. So we cannot appoint someone who is not bonded.
Okay.
We don't have a blanket bond.
That's something that I need to,
A blanket bond would work, but
Yeah, that's why.
well, would the board be willing to grant me permission to appoint him once we have that established?
Before we move forward, that I'd like to stress my concerns. Right now, I think where we're at, we need to take a look at someone. Chief Perry is a great guy, can do a lot of things. But right now, with the growing for public safety concerns, I think we're at a point now we need to find somebody else because his plate is so full. He's running a full-time staff and also building a new fire department. His plate is full.
We also just got dinged by the OSA for not having separation of duties because we had a former town manager signing for himself and his department as signing the contract. So if we give Chief Perry that power, he's going to be signing for the fire department's $6 million budget as well as the town's. There is no separation of duty there between him and his department. So we're just redoing the same thing again.
Did you say that later on you're going to be addressing the plan, or would the board be amenable to moving that agenda item up so that Ms. Crosby can speak to it right now.
Well, we could table the one to.
Sure, I'm
after
fine
it.
with that.
Does that work? Do you think it will be? Go ahead.
No, but, so this is what I will say to you all. So what I would ask is if the board would grant me permission to appoint once we get the bond. Otherwise, we cannot do any business until the board meets again. I have a meeting tomorrow with the consultant, and that is something we will follow up on. Unfortunately, given the timing of what has happened over the last few days, and with Dan returning from vacation, I'm trying to make sure that we keep the operations going.
I guess that's my question. Dan, you might have to be the one to answer. What is another solution that we can do in the meantime? 'Cause hearing the concerns of members of the board, this is something that we need to take into consideration.
So I've seen the town manager be appointed as the interim finance director. Of course, we still have to address the bond issue. I would be surprised if Cherry Beckert did not have a blanket bond that was in place. So I think it would be acceptable to, if you're amenable to Cherry Beckert serving in that role, to say subject
Cherry
to
Beckert does not want to
confirmation that
serve
they are
in that
bonded.
capacity. I've already talked to Cherry Beckert about it. I did provide their insurance documents, but I've
They have questions.
already had this conversation with them.
Keep the appointment, and then we'll have like an emergency meeting, or we'll do something to reconvene to make sure we understand who's going to be put in that position, because we're responsible for that.
How soon of a time frame are we?
I mean, as soon as the town manager can find somebody, we call a meeting and we show up and, discuss it.
Want that person at the
Yeah,
time of
but
it.
that's just my, it's up to the board. But I do think we have a bigger problem. I think we should switch, like you said, and talk about the Cherry Beckert contract first, and that implication, and then work down the line and say, do we even like the Cherry Beckert contract and what they're going to do? Then do we want to allocate money to do that contract? And then do we want to appoint this person?
But it sounds like Cherry Beckert does not even want to take on that role. So even if we
Well, one-
discuss it.
Yes, Cherry Beckert has already said that we need to have someone internal to do the pre-audit certification. I don't want to be that person because of the segregation of duty issue. Secondly, we cannot discuss the Cherry Beckert contract without having this in place, which is why this is on new business. I don't know if it's appropriate, since this is a personnel-related matter, for us to go into a closed session
If we're
temporarily.
hiring them as an employee, it would, if we're hiring them as sort of an independent contractor, then I don't,
Can we go into closed session so I can have a conversation about this?
that would probably be appropriate.
Okay. All right. We are going to, what's the general statute? I got to say all that.
143-31811.
Oh, I think it's up here already. All right. So we are going to take a moment to go into closed session to discuss personnel matters. And, yep, is there a motion for a closed session to discuss personnel matters?
I'll make a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters.
We have a motion. Do we have a
using
second?
the
Oh, sorry.
Statute that.
143-318-11-6.
143-318-11-6. Please do.
Personnel, NC 143-318.11. Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All right, closed session.
Okay, all right. We have enough recess.
Testing. 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 Testing.
You want me to use mine? Let me do mine.
I don't either, but yes, I
Testing, testing.
Testing. Testing. Testing.
Mic check. Oh,
I don't think we can hear. Hello?
it's on. Go ahead.
Can you hear this one? You can?
It's just soft, though.
That's my 30.
George is 2. Yeah, Miles is 3. Up or down?
It's cold outside. I have nothing to say.
Retired,
That's all I got.
but I was in Franklinton for 30 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, which one you need? Thank you.
Well, when Jessica spoke, I think it was too loud.
Okay.
And so it was feeding, it was doing.
Okay, so is that the one you had just adjusted?
I adjusted
Okay.
mic 3 down because it was all the way up. So I just moved it just slightly down because he does talk softly.
Yeah, some do,
But I
yeah.
think it was up too high.
Thank you for doing that, though.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm gonna just double check, make sure it's all right. Testing. Yours is working. Testing.
Thank you, Mom.
Testing. Podium.
Which one is that? Podium is pretty. Go check it. I'll put it up. So, okay, that's all. That's all.
Will you be speaking for me? I'm gonna just take this mic.
Okay.
It's starting to work. Testing. There you go. Testing. Now we got it.
It just wanted you to touch it. We got this. Yeah, baby. Super helpful is if at the end of each one of these sections, okay, excuse me, because I was like, pages, because there's not an easy way for me to scoot back up. It's just a voice of the customer.
We just need to.
Okay,
So then we can go back to the agenda and then we can go to the next item.
gotcha. So we put it at the beginning, I'll do it
That-
that way. So, yeah. All right, no problem. Hey, we're experimenting.
Hey, you know what? That is just something that would like make things a little bit easier for me. But
Anything that makes anything easier.
especially when we've got something that's 800 pages plus.
I'm cold natured, and I'm like, it's a fan in here. I said, we don't need no fan. We need a heater.
No, today we do. Today we do. Have to suit it up.
Yeah.
Probably only six.
And it's just making me nuts. We just had too much sunset. Well, like, I think that I actually have the wrong agenda packet open.
They sent the most recent one. I know when that was sent.
I thought that was the one that I opened, but it looks like,
not.
like the agenda that we have here doesn't, it's just a little tweak, but it won't match up. That's all right.
So I've been doing the town attorney thing since probably 10 years. And I've been doing municipal law my whole career. That's what I've been doing.
I tell you, it's challenging sometimes.
Yes.
You know, and, you know, it's so much going on. And I'm like, you know,
We're discussing finance and the temporary designation of a finance officer. So this resolution, is there a motion for this?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Manager Katie Crosby as the temporary finance officer.
Interim finance officer. Okay. So there is a motion to appoint Manager Crosby as the interim finance officer. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll vote. Commissioner Baxter.
In favor?
Commissioner Adams. Sorry. Commissioner Davis.
Favor.
Commissioner Roa.
Not in favor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Not in favor.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Discussion?
All right. Of course, Commissioner Roa. Discussion, please go.
Just for the record, Manager Crosby does not have a bond, and there is no separation of duties there if she is the town manager and the finance director.
And just for information, this is, and perhaps I need to reword it if the board so desires, it is contingent upon her duties are contingent upon her being bonded immediately tomorrow.
So do we need to amend that motion? Madam Clerk, Dan, do you think we should amend that motion? Because the motion is contingent upon bonding, so, okay. So we have a motion that needs to be amended, Commissioner Baxter.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to temporarily designate Katie Crosby as our finance officer contingent upon her getting bonded.
Thank you, Commissioner Baxter. Is your motion, your second still good, Commissioner Davis?
Yes, second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Discussion, Mayor Pro Tem.
Just want to make sure, would Chief Perry also have to be bonded too, Dan? Is that how that work as well?
Those roles, and yes.
I think you're appointed
But
to serve as well.
that is not necessarily a motion the board
Not
needs
the
to
motion.
Oh,
make
you didn't
because
motion?
that's
Nope.
in purview of the town manager.
Yeah. So we're just appointing town manager as interim. Yeah. All right. So we have a motion and a second. We're up for discussion. Commissioner Rowe, would you like to repeat your comment, your statement?
No, I said it.
All right. Make sure we have that. All right. Let's take another roll vote. Commissioner Baxter.
Favor.
Commissioner Adams.
Favor.
Commissioner Davis.
Favor.
Commissioner Rolla.
Not in favor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Not in favor.
Thank you. Motion passes. All right. Now we are going down to Finance 2, FY26 Consolidated Budget Amendment, Ordinance 2027-01. Manager Crosby, is that you?
Everything, I apologize. So the budget amendment, there's several things on here. The first is that there were a number of items that were to be rolled over. And normally we do a rollover and pull from fund balance. Instead, we are reallocating funding that from the police department salary line item that was overstated in the original budget to the items that should have rolled over rather than pulling it from fund balance. And then the other item is the strategic plan, just reappropriating it in the current fiscal year. The money has already been encumbered.
Thank you. All right. Do we have a motion for the consolidated budget amendment?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the FY 2026 Consolidated Budget Amendment Ordinance 2027-01.
Thank you, Commissioner Baxter. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
How did we get to the $1.9 million for the Judd Street project? Because in the Last year's budget, we had $440,000 appropriated for that, and there's no price or quote inside of that contract for Dunbarry or whoever's managing that.
I'm going to ask Director Fletcher to come up. The $440,000 is for a project that did not move forward. This is a different project for the light related to the fire station.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. The 1.9 million was in the budget last year. I believe it was carried over to this year. It was appropriated last year. And that was the estimate, before I got here, that was the estimate to install the signal there at the Judge Arundel intersection. That's what we're working off of this year. Dewberry's doing some preliminary engineering reviews now, working with DOT to see if we're going to put a full-blown signal or just a preemptive measure there. But the 1.9 million is what I've been working with since I got here.
Allocated, I believe, in the FY26 budget. It was not moved to a capital budget, so we rolled it over to this year's budget in the FY27 budget, and now we're moving it to a capital fund.
Can the board just be forwarded a copy of that estimate that you've gotten from the company?
I can look and see where it originated from. If it was 26 or 25, but I
It
can
was
find
prior to, it was in a previous budget. If you look in the fund balance document, I believe that I gave you all at the retreat last year, I believe it was there.
Okay.
It was. Thank you.
I would like a copy after this, just for the board to have, but that's it. Thank you.
I think Manager Crosby, if you could.
Yeah,
get
I
that.
still have my copy.
Yeah. To those of us who want it. Thank you. All right, we have a motion, we have a second, we had discussion. Let's take a roll vote. Commissioner Baxter.
In favor?
Commissioner Adams. Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Roa.
Favor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Favor.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. The Sherry contract. Board.
It's my understanding that we're removing that?
And y'all have to make.
Tabling that, I'd like that to be.
Make a motion to table that Cherry Becker Professional Services Support contract indefinitely.
We have a motion. We have a second. We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. Roll vote. Commissioner Roa.
Approve.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Favor.
Commissioner Davis.
Favor.
Commissioner Adams. Commissioner Baxter. Thank you. Motion passes. Moving up on to economic development, building uplift grant. Director Long.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the board. I've got a couple items for you this evening regarding economic development, so I look forward to sharing those with you. If you have questions as I'm going, feel free to stop me and ask. So the first item that we're going to talk about is regarding the building upfit grant. This is something that the town has been discussing moving forward with for a couple of years, and we've worked towards building a grant program that is before you tonight. So this program is currently funded in this fiscal year for $30,000. It is intended to encourage rehabilitation and occupancy of commercial buildings in our downtown area. It is a reimbursement-based incentive with a 50-50 match up to $30,000 budget pending for this fiscal year and future fiscal years unless you change it otherwise. The minimum request is $10,000 per grant with a total project cost of $20,000, and it'll be a rolling application cycle. The reason we have it as a rolling application cycle is because you never know when during the year a new building or new business might be coming, and so it could be a barrier to some moving forward or extend the time frame if they have to wait for an application period. Eligible properties are those that are located within the town of Zebulon Main Street boundary. You have to be subject to property taxes and applicable fees, be an existing commercial or mixed-use building, and comply with all applicable zoning and development regulations. You would not be eligible if you're a residential-only property or a new construction. Eligible applicants are property owners operating a business within the building, commercial tenants occupying the space, purchasers under contract who intend to occupy the property upon closing, subject to town approval. We did have an asterisk that applicants must occupy the space before they can receive assistance. Eligible improvements may include but are not limited to HVAC, electrical and plumbing, fire suppression systems and/or fire alarm systems, code compliance improvements, interior construction, permanent commercial kitchen improvements, and structural stabilization. Ineligible improvements would be things such as inventory, furniture, cosmetic decorations, landscaping, business operating expenses, permit fees, and architectural or engineering fees, unless specifically approved by the town. The review process would first ensure that the project meets eligibility requirements and that a full application has been submitted. We would ensure that the proposed project serves a public purpose consistent with North Carolina's statutes. We would ensure that it's an activation of vacant or underutilized commercial space. The project offers an economic development impact with the ability to attract customers, increase commercial activity, and strengthen the downtown economy. Application established support that the project and the business is viable, including the applicant's ability to successfully establish or expand the business, that the project will result in job creation and retention, and the project and business is compatible with the goals and objectives of downtown revitalization. Preference will be given to proposals that fill identified service gaps, and that project readiness, including the applicant's ability to begin and complete the project within the required time frame. Once they've reviewed the application, the committee will make a recommendation to the town manager or their designee for final approval. Expectations would be that building permits must be obtained within 6 months of approval, that construction shall be completed within 1 year following permit issuance. One extension of up to 6 months may be granted by the town manager or their designee. Abide by all applicable laws, obtain final inspections, and receive a certificate of occupancy, and that you are open for business. Improvements would remain in place for 3 years. If the improvements do not remain in place, there will be a repayment schedule. Within 1 year, it will be a 100% repayment to the town. Within 2 years, 60%, and 3 years, 30%. Our implementation process would include a community engagement and education period where we would work to develop a brochure, web presence, social media, video, and we'd have a proposed launch the first week of September. Our finalization of administrative documents will conclude the second week of August, and our staff and committee training would begin the last week of August. Just in case you're curious, I did put a QR code to what the application, the draft application is currently looking at. The Main Street Board recommended approval in November of 2025. We have had legal review the policy that is presented in front of you, and we've made all edits recommended by legal. The resolution 2027-02 is in front of you for your consideration to approve the draft building upfit grant policy.
Thank you, Director Long. Do we have any okay. Commissioner Baxter.
Just one point. On the page of the actual building upfit grant policy, it's the first page under fiscal analysis. I'm just going to ask that we change the verbiage from fiscal year 2026 to fiscal year 27.
Yeah.
That's the only, I'm just going to do that with my motion.
That's the staff report. I don't think that, is that in the resolution? That's not in the resolution. So it's just it's a typo in the staff report.
Okay, that's fine then. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
One question, how will we monitor if those changes have taken place? I know you said they're returned on that, the 100% or whatever it may be. How do we monitor if those changes, if you'll go back a couple of screens out to where we talk, you can keep going. Yeah, the repayment plan, that is correct, yes. How do we monitor that? Just out of...
So you have a Main Street coordinator currently, and this process, the implementation of this would be a collaboration with the town and that Main Street program. And so as they work through, I think a great example of timing is that every year they have to do an annual report where they are looking at the status of buildings, what kind of investment has occurred, and so that would be an opportunity. But our Main Street coordinator is downtown consistently, and so if we recognize prior to that annual report where we're auditing the status of downtown buildings and businesses, then that would trigger us to go ahead and implement the agreement where they would have to go back and reimburse us.
Thank you. So just to make sure, this is the same thing as our normal grant, FET grant that we offer regularly. This is the same thing, or this is something in addition to?
So you currently have a facade grant.
Correct.
This is in addition to that. This is for building up. The facade grant will just focuses on the exterior storefront essentially, and this will be allowed to help with that more substantial infrastructure cost to upfitting a building to reopen to the public.
Okay, so this is addition to. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
That's good. Commissioner Rolla?
Isn't one of the perks of us being in the Main Street program having access to get these exact grants from the NC Main Street program? Why are we having to pay for it or allocate funding to do it?
There are a variety of grants that can be made available, but they're very competitive, and they're going to be that some of them could be nationwide, they could be statewide. So that it is. There's less control to ensure that these funds are accessible, and to upfit a building is extremely expensive. And the board has indicated that there was an interest in making sure that revitalization of our downtown was a priority. And so this is an opportunity, this is a tool for the town to help see that goal through and make this available to the public. So yes, these grants that being part of Main Street, these businesses can certainly go through that process. It's going to be more competitive because you're looking at a nationwide or a statewide pool. This is going to be very specific to your town, your tax base. And the intent is, yes, to revitalize it, to help your downtown grow. It's not really, while you are helping that one business, the intent is that it will continue to spur additional development in your downtown. And so the return on investment would be the continued businesses coming to town, people investing in other properties, the jobs that are created, the foot traffic that's coming downtown. So that's what y'all would be looking as your return on investment.
And where is this coming out of in the budget?
It's currently allocated in the economic development budget. There's
Already appropriated for it, or
yes, it's already appropriated. We're not asking for additional funds.
Okay.
We're just putting the program in place to implement it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rolla. Any other questions from the board?
Just want to make sure I didn't miss this when we talk about the improvements. That is also going to be monitored by economic development. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to the implementation slide. We wanted to make sure that we had a good understanding. If you were comfortable with this policy, we have begun drafting what the administrative process is, when we receive the application, how we walk through evaluating those applications, and then what the closeout will look like, and then the monitoring process. So all of those documents are currently in development. We would be looking to finalize those next week. We didn't want to completely finalize them because how you move forward tonight could change how we implement the administrative policy or the administrative documents to implement your policy.
That will come back before us for that. Will we be able to discuss that again, or you will be able to inform us of that?
Yeah, we can provide those to you, and if you have questions, you could share that with Katie. The big thing tonight is the policy piece, and then we can develop all the administrative information, get that to y'all, and if you have questions, we're happy to answer.
Okay, thank you.
Who makes up the board, just so I make sure, who's going to be the decision factor? What does that board could look like? Who's on that board?
Yeah, so the Main Street Board, I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure I got you the right answer. The Main Street Board currently has a design committee. So in the building upfit policy, It's on the fourth page of the policy under review and evaluation, and it says applications will be reviewed by the Zebulon Downtown Association Design Committee. And that is the current committee. It's a subcommittee of the Main Street committee that you currently have, and they are also reviewing like your facade grant currently. And so they're going to utilize the tools that they've learned evaluating those processes here as well. So they'll review the application for consistency with your policy, and then they'll make a recommendation to the manager or the manager's designee, and the manager would ultimately make that decision.
So currently, that board is made up of who? Do you have names? Who that board?
Nell Carroll, Brian Bullock, Emily Cochran, did I get that right? Yes. Okay, and Patricia Robinson.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments from the board? All right, hearing none. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2027-02.
Thank you. Commissioner Baxter, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All right. Let's do a discussion. Any discussion?
We are, like, we had a citizen come up and discuss about our budget. We need to be careful how we're spending money and if we're overlapping services. If we are part of the Main Street program and we like being part of the Main Street program and the Main Street program's job is to help people get these grants, then we shouldn't be double dipping. We should either one or the other, keep the Main Street program and work with that, or bring the Main Street program in-house, and then we are providing all the grants, we're providing all the oversight. This half in, half out, 1 foot here, 1 foot there is a little bit, to me, that's why I asked about what are the grants. The facade grants are Main Street, or is that in-house with us?
The facade grant is a town program. So I think it would be really beneficial if we bring the Commerce in to talk with y'all, and Katie and Teresa and I had a meeting with them recently where we're going to work to bring them into a work session. So they're not administering this program for us. There's at the end of the day, there's a small fee that we pay, and it's really to the National Main Street Board to be a part of that organization. But we're not paying Main Street to participate in their program, but they do have a lot of benefits that we have access to by making sure that we have certain things in order to support our downtown. That's the...
Yeah, if I could jump in. So I think the Main Street membership is either $675 or $375, but as part of that membership, you get a number of free services that our businesses downtown can take advantage of, including some design services and things like that. And then similar to, I think it was Fall Line that got the grant, the businesses also have access to different grant opportunities through the Main Street program, but that does not negate the town's responsibility to also invest in our community and our downtown. So this building upgrade grant and the facade grant supports our responsibility to our downtown and upgrading our downtown. So it's additional resources through Main Street, free resources, but we still should be investing in our downtown if we want to drive investment there.
Okay.
Baxter?
And I'd just like to point out that by investing in and supporting businesses that are willing to do upfits now, we are not relying on a potential could possibly happen, but maybe could not happen grant through the Main Street program that could happen 3 years or 4 years down the line. If we want to have the revitalization of our downtown that is part of our strategic goals and has always been very important to us, then we do have to make sure that we are supporting initiatives by business owners to upfit the buildings that we have in our downtown core.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion?
We did.
Hmm?
I made a motion.
Oh, my bad. Discussion. Roll vote. Commissioner Rolla.
Approve.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Favor.
Commissioner Davis.
Favor.
Commissioner Adams. Commissioner Baxter. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Director Long,
Again.
back to you.
Yeah, we've got some exciting things to talk about downtown this evening. So the Building a Fit grant was a tool in your toolbox now. We're going to move on to some more exciting information. As you are likely aware, we did receive a direct allocation from the federal government for economic development and downtown revitalization, and it's processed through HUD. And our federal allocation was $700,000. There's no match required. The scope that we are focusing in on is infrastructure and utility enhancement, activating public spaces, public art and wayfinding in the locations of the 100, 200, and 300 eastern and western blocks of Arundel Avenue. The primary step for us right now is to authorize the manager or the designee to submit required documentations to HUD so that we can execute a contract. Once we have a contract executed, we'll be able to work with HUD on an action plan with more specific items that we're going to work through downtown to reinvest in the $700,000. So while the town is investing $30,000, we also have the $700,000 that the feds are investing in our community. And as we work through the action plan, we're also going to work through executing environmental reviews. So if we can limit how much major construction we would be doing in any of our projects, it would limit the scope of the environmental reviews. And so we are trying to make sure that we're intentional with how we use the $700,000, that we can make a big impact fairly quickly for our community and have just some really nice things moving forward. So that leaves you with Resolution 2027-03 for your consideration.
Thank you, Director Long. Questions from the board? No questions from the board? Roll vote? I'm sorry.
I would like to make a resolution to
Thank you.
approve, or a motion,
See, it's not
to
just
approve
me.
Resolution 2027-03.
We have a motion.
That's
Do we
what I
have a
get.
second? Thank you, Commissioner Baxter. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Discussion. What is wrong with me tonight? I'm sorry. Do we have any discussion, guys? All right. Let's take a vote. Let's take a roll vote. Commissioner Baxter.
In favor.
Commissioner Adams. Commissioner Davis.
Favor.
Commissioner Rolla.
Favor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Favor.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Director Long, Main Street boundary.
Let's see, let me get to that spot in my notes. I have been working with Teresa Piner to make sure that I understood some key priorities to help move Main Street forward as our, landscaping changes in our downtown community. And when I sat down and talked with her, there were two things that were a top priority, one being the Building Up Fit grant, and so we've accomplished that one this evening. And the other was taking a look at our Main Street boundary. And I think it's important to recognize what the purpose of our Main Street program is, and that's to support business growth, encourage private investment, preserve historic character, and create vibrant places for residents and visitors. And the benefit of the Main Street program is to receive access to technical assistance, market analysis, business recruitment support, design services, professional training, and statewide networking and funding opportunities. The impacts of Main Street is that since 2022 in downtown Zebulon, you've had approximately $10 million increase to your assessed value. There's been $6,700,000 in private investment, and that includes building purchase, upfit, rehab, trade permits. And in talking with Teresa, our annual report out to Main Street's due towards the end of July, and so we were still in the process of reviewing this data. So as we're wrapping that up, we actually think the number is actually higher, a little bit higher for 2026. So you're more in the $2,300,000 and some change realm. So we've had significant investment in our downtown this year, and we anticipate that that will continue, and the services provided by Main Street can be very helpful as we continue these efforts. The proposed expansion to our Main Street program, what you see here in the map, the blue areas, the current Main Street boundary. Main Street likes you to start with a smaller defined, so you can build out and you can see your change working through that program. And so we started with the blue area and working in partnership with the state to define that. We've since had some real estate activity, private investment, new sewer lines, some stormwater improvements in the areas where you see the green shade. Our recommendation in talking with North Carolina Commerce, the Main Street board here in Zebulon, is that the areas in green be considered for a boundary extension. So our process would be to implement this as we've already vetted this with Commerce, but we would resubmit officially. And I'm not exactly sure what that timeline is, but it would be, we'll say a couple of weeks. We would hope to have a final determination on being able to move that forward. Once that gets moved forward, we will have community engagement and education. That will include website updates, social media, video, notices, and contact to the added properties. And we would be working to have that rolled out within 1 month from notification of approval. The Main Street Board did recommend approval in November of 2025. Resolution 2027-4 is available for your consideration. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the board, Mayor Pro Tem?
I'd just like to take a look at that map again. If you can go back to the map.
Go back to the map.
Yes.
Can you speak to, I'm sorry, is that what you were wondering?
Yeah,
Like,
trying to say
what
we
is,
add
we
on.
see the expansion, but can you speak to like what exactly that covers?
It's a little confusing.
Businesses and everything we're looking at.
This is the open lot back here across from Sammy's here. This is the open lot. So it's all of that. This is the road. And up here.
All the way down to design dimensions, sound like this. Is that
Yeah.
what you understand?
We should probably just take it to West Sycamore and Orange Church, make it a box.
All right, so
This is on this side, on this side.
yes, Teresa may jump in and save me if I get this incorrect. Okay. So right here, you see, this is the railroad on the screen up here. You see what I'm talking about here? This is Vance Street. So these are the old Whitley Gallery buildings. So you'll see it included a couple of them, but not all of them. And since the Main Street boundary was originally developed, you've had a lot of real estate activity here. We're seeing increased real estate activity moving here. There's been sewer line investment and stormwater improvements in this area as well. This does include you referencing design dimensions, so that's what you have here. This brings you all the way back up. There's this is the Debenham building. This is that warehouse and the concrete pad in this area. Across the street, this is that alley that the town owns, where this red line is, and these are the doctor's office. There's a hair place as well, and that's what these buildings are.
So where does it stop currently, right here, where the other green part is?
The blue, only the blue area. So essentially, like on Arundel, it stops at the alleys behind all of the buildings. It doesn't continue down all the way the block, and we're looking to go more along these blocks.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, comments from the board? Hearing none. We have a motion.
Motion to approve Resolution 2027-04.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have any discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Director
Got me
Long,
again.
you
I'm so
can't get
sorry.
enough of us. Go ahead. New business C, Parks and Rec, LWCF application submission.
Yes. We have been hard at work at the design phase of Community Park, and we're really excited for the progress that will come. For those that don't know, we did receive a grant from Wake County, just over $2 million that will help us implement this project in our first phase. Our first phase did focus on initial infrastructure, the second entranceway, our soccer fields, a small playground in the area of our soccer fields. We added to that first phase design, we added the design of our basketball courts in the community garden. There was not construction funding associated with that, but we did want to work towards trying to find the construction funding for that. And we also, increasingly, we get demand for pickleball courts. I mean, that's not new. We've been trying to move that forward. It's identified in our second phase of Community Park, but you have an opportunity to grant stack. There's a Land, Water, and Conservation grant coming up this fall. They have increased the amount. It used to be you could get up to $500,000. It's increased to $750,000. A match is required. It is 50-50. But we're not requesting new funds at this time. What our recommendation would be is that we utilize the funds that are already allocated for phase one as your match. And then you use the additional funds, the $750,000, to help fund the basketball court construction, the community garden construction, and the design and construction of your pickleball courts. We won't know the exact cost of construction until we go out to bid. But based on our early assessments of what we've anticipated the cost to be for these amenities, $750,000 would be right in there of what you would be looking for to be able to do those at the same time as everything else. That Land, Water, and Conservation Fund's purpose is to promote outdoor recreation. I think I put this in here. I don't know that I did. LWCF already has investment in Community Park. So you've received 2 grants associated with LWCF, I believe in the 70s and the 90s. And so there's already a restriction. When you do get funding from LWCF, you are promising that that property will remain available to the public in perpetuity for the purpose of outdoor recreation. Those restrictions are already on the property. And so by requesting this grant and agreeing to this and moving forward, you're not adding a different deed expectation that's not already there. What the next steps would be is to authorize the mayor and the manager or designee to prepare and submit required documents to apply for the LWCF grant and to execute required documents to accept it if awarded. Our next steps as staff would be to prepare that application. There is an opportunity for an application review with the state on August 28th. So they'll review it. They partner with the federal government to help process that. The ultimate application due date is November 2nd. So Resolution 2027-05 is available for your consideration.
Thank you, Director Long. Any questions or comments from the board? What? All right. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 2027-05.
Motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Discussion from the board? Hearing none. Roll vote. Commissioner Rolla?
In favor.
Commissioner Baxter? In favor. Commissioner Adams? Favor. Commissioner Davis? Favor. Mayor Pro Tem?
Favor.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Long.
And you're done with me for now.
I was about to say, and you're done.
Just for now.
Thank you. All right, next we have planning, phase and track annexation. Mr. Gunderson, please present your information.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. So tonight I'm presenting the phase and track annexation which is ordinance number 2027-03. Just for a recap here, so the annexation standards that as far as making decisions here is presented in the UDO 2.2.2.G, and there's 4 different standards. The owner approval, whether services can be provided, debt obligations, and public health, safety, and welfare. So the property, as shown in yellow, is located south of West Gannon Avenue. The applicant is Timmons Group. Property owner is Andrew Faison. The property address is 0 Gannon Avenue and 100 Coolwood Trail. Property pin numbers is 1795 123 608 and 179 503 8323, and the combined acreage is approximately 102.16 acres. Public notice notification was sent out through public hearing signs, mailed notices to property owners within 750 feet, and advertisement in the Wake Weekly. And as shown in yellow here, the property is within Zebulon's ETJ and is next door to the corporate limits. And the current zoning for the property is R2. And these are just kind of additional notes, is the project for this parcel is in late stages of construction and construction drawing review, and is buildable without any additional entitlements. And these are all located within the packet, just as an FYI. Fiscal impact statement assessment has been provided in a manner consistent with the comprehensive plan's annexation and growth management policy M. Annexation is not a prerequisite for wet utility service. Town has already provided approval of extraterritorial water and sewer service. So there's 2 possible outcomes here. One is annexation, which is part of it is, the estimated annual property tax is the gross dollar amount is $460,000 per year, and $283,000 is the net value using current service cost estimates, and the utility allocation policy is enforceable. Whereas if you don't annex, project development developed per our UDO, no change, at least on that end. Of course, this is kind of the downsides here, no new property tax collected. Utility allocation is not enforceable, and developer covers their own garbage, and county sheriff polices property. So staff recommends approval of the proposed annexation, as the public benefits of annexation outweigh the benefits of leaving the property unincorporated. And the applicant's representatives here, if you have any questions towards that.
Thank you.
And then, I don't know if you guys have any questions.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Just one quick question. Help me understand, at what point do we kind of like ask about the housing, basically the HOA? Where can we implement some standards in there, Matt? Where do we do that at? Normally, the issue that we're having with new development is property managers. The property managers are not user-friendly to the citizens. So what point can we put something in there like we've done in the past?
Yeah. Sure. So if I understand your question correctly, you're asking about what types of police power or enforcement authority regulations the planning department has related to HOAs?
That, but also kind of what we did was we took where at a certain percentage of the build out, 25%, 50%, we were putting citizens on like a board where we weren't just dumping and HOA fees or whatever into citizens' hands without knowing where those funds were going or whatever it may be.
So the town currently does not have regulatory authority how a builder structures an HOA. We do require that we require that most subdivisions of this type have an HOA, but we don't have any particular standards about how that HOA operates.
So in the past, when we implemented, I think we did it once before with Weaver's Ridge, I think it was. We put one of the communities, we put where at 25% you would put 2 citizens on the board, 50%, because what we were running into where we weren't turning that over until the complete build out, and that's the issue that we're having now with a lot of kickback from citizens.
You know, Matt, if I can address that, Mayor Pro Tem, I really, honestly and truly, I don't know how we enforce that, because I don't believe that even when we had that conversation before, I can't say, and Commissioner Roa, help, you know, because you're housing, but I don't think that happened.
That's what I was asking.
Even though we said it, I don't know how that's something that we can legally enforce for a HOA, that we don't necessarily have the. Oh, I'm sorry, subject matter expert.
Proceed.
No, but do you?
You can enforce it.
You can't enforce that? Okay.
I'm asking that, I'm using for learning opportunity. So this is subject matter expert.
So this developer has vested rights to this property. And so they are entitled to do what they are doing. And any changes that the board were to make to the UDO that would impact this development, it wouldn't necessarily impact this development, because this development has submitted, and once you submit an application, you have vested rights under when you submit that application. What you're talking about, I wasn't here for that. It in theory could be a discussion during a planned development legislative process. This is not that, right? This is a developer that's requesting to annex property. But in terms of how the property is built, in terms of how the developer chooses to manage the property, they have vested rights already in the property, and those they last in perpetuity. So.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep. So, yeah.
That's it.
All right.
That was the only question I had.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? All right. Hearing none. We're going to go move to public comment. Thank you. The public hearing is the opportunity for the public to express thoughts, ideas, concerns, and opinions regarding the proposed request to the Board of Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners staff and applicant will not engage in dialogue at this time. If the public has questions pertaining to the annexation request, please contact town staff or the applicant following the annexation public hearing. And now, with the instructions covered, I will now open the public hearing regarding the proposed annexation. If you wish to speak in favor of the proposed annexation, please form a line to the podium, at the podium to my left. Name for the record.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, I'm Collier Marsh with Parker Poe here on behalf of the applicant. We appreciate the board taking up this annexation, and we're just here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. No questions. All right. Hearing no one in favor, thank you. If you wish to speak in opposition to the proposed annexation, please form a line to the podium, at the podium to my left. Hearing none. If you wish to speak neither in favor nor in opposition to the proposed annexation, please form a line at the podium to my left. Hearing none. Madam Clerk, are there any public comments to be read into the record that are related to this proposed annexation?
No.
Thank you. And now that we've heard or not heard, I will now close the public hearing. And with the public hearing complete, any remaining comments from our board? Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I hereby move to approve ordinance 2027-02 for the annexation of Wake County Pen 179512360 and 17950383323 into the Zebulon corporate boundaries, finding that the standards of section 2.2.2G are met.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, a second, and a third. We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll vote. Commissioner Roa?
Approve.
Commissioner Baxter? Favor. Commissioner Adams?
Approve.
Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Not in favor.
Motion passes 4-1. Thank you. Temple Johnson Road annexation.
All right, very similar presentation for 131 and 201 Temple Johnson Road. The UDO provides standards in which the board must consider as you consider to annex property into the Zebulon town limits. Those standards are on the screen. The property in this case is 131 and 201 Temple Johnson Road. We have to read the pins for annexation: 27055, 26808, 27056, 20848. The applicant is Sherry Case. Property owners are Meridian Properties Group, LLC. This slide shows that the town has met the public hearing notification requirements per the Unified Development Ordinance, including signing the property, mailed notices, and newspaper advertisement in our newspaper of record. The property is currently in the ETJ and is adjacent to town limits to the north. And interestingly, it's in the ETJ, but it is zoned downtown periphery, which is one of our densest zoning districts. And so that's the first additional note here, is that our downtown periphery district allows for a variety of affordable and mixed product housing types, as well as mixed use and commercial, and it's very much an urbanizing district. A fiscal impact assessment for this project has been provided in a manner consistent with comprehensive plans, annexation, and growth management policy M. And as is the case in the previous annexation, annexation here is also not a prerequisite for wet utility service because the town has provided approval for extraterritorial water and sewer service. So there are two potential outcomes tonight. One is the board chooses to annex the property. The property will be developed per our UDO and will achieve at its full build-out an estimated annual property tax value of $715,000 gross, $464,000 net based on our current utility service cost estimates. And the utility allocation policy is enforceable. If there is no annexation tonight, the board chooses not to annex this property. The property will still be developed per our UDO. However, no new property tax will be collected. The utility allocation policy is not enforceable. The developer will cover their own garbage, and the county sheriff will police the property. Staff recommends approval of the proposed annexation. So we believe that the public benefits of annexation in this case outweigh the benefits of leaving the property unincorporated. The applicant is here to answer any questions, and so is staff. And back to you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Director Lauer. Any questions from the board? Comments? Mayor Pro Tem?
Matt, what is the realization of seeing that tax revenue? What kind of time frame are you looking at?
The time frame is dependent upon the build-out of the developer. So the densest that property could be built out is about 500 apartment units, give or take. That's the densest. That doesn't mean that's not, doesn't mean there won't be commercial or whatever on the property. Usually, this is just a gut estimate, but what I've seen in the market is it takes about 18 months to build what you might consider a standard apartment building. And so they could build multiple at a time, but if you use an 18-month build-out time frame, I would suspect that that property, should construction plans be submitted by the end of the year, you would see something go vertical, and don't hold me to this, but typically within 2 to 3 years from when the construction plans are submitted. Yeah.
Before you ever see the first tax dollar. Okay, thank you.
Good, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Director Lauer. Any other questions or comments from the board? Anything from the applicants at this time? All right, thank you. At this time, the public hearing is now open. Public hearing is the opportunity for the public to express thoughts, ideas, concerns, and opinions regarding the proposed request to the Board of Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners, staff, and applicant will not engage in dialogue at this time. If the public has questions pertaining to the annexation request, please contact town staff or the applicant following the annexation public hearing. With these instructions covered, I will now open, the public hearing is open. If you wish to speak in favor of the proposed annexation, please line up to the podium at my left. Hearing none, if you wish to speak in opposition to the proposed annexation, please form a line at the podium to my left. Hearing and seeing none, if you wish to speak neither in favor nor in opposition to the proposed annexation, please form a line at the podium. Hearing none, now that we have heard from those we have not heard, we will now close the public hearing. With the public hearing complete, any further or last comments from our board or any emailed responses that have come in? Thank you. Is that what you're? there. All right, thank you. Do we have a motion?
I hereby move to approve ordinance 2027-03 for the annexation of Wake County PIN, or is it 2027-04? Are we on the right sample motion?
Yeah, there may have been a copy and paste error. Let's call it 4. Yep.
No, 4, correct?
It is.
All right.
2020.
Ordinance 2027-04 for the annexation of Wake County PIN 270-552-6808 and 270-562-0848 into the Zebulon corporate boundaries, finding that the standards of section 2.2.2.g are met.
Thank you, Commissioner Baxter. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion from the board. Hearing none, roll vote. Commissioner Roa?
In favor.
Commissioner Baxter?
Favor.
Commissioner Adams?
Favor.
Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Not in favor.
Motion passes 4-1. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. And now we will hear from our Public Works Director, Director Fletcher. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, again. Commissioners, I have the topic tonight's Capital Project Fund Ordinance for North Arundel Judd Signal Project. The executive summary: installation of traffic control improvements at North Arundel Avenue and Judd Street is necessary to support safe emergency vehicle access from the new fire station on West Judd Street. At a minimum, an emergency vehicle traffic control signal or flasher is required to provide preemption capability. The town is also coordinating with NCDOT on the installation of a full traffic signal to address broader operational and safety needs at the intersection. Staff recommends establishing a capital project fund to advance these improvements. Brief background: the new fire station will rely on Arundel Avenue as its primary outlet. The intersection of North Arundel Avenue and Judd Street currently operates under a stop control on the side streets. Analysis completed through the preliminary engineering report, as well as the subsequent addendum, confirms that site distance is limited, signal warrants are met, and side street movements face increasing delay as traffic volumes grow in the near years. An emergency vehicle traffic control signal or flasher meets the MUTCD application criteria and would allow fire department vehicles to preempt the intersection for safe entry onto Arundel Avenue. In parallel, the town is working with NCDOT to pursue a conventional traffic signal that would also improve everyday traffic operations and safety for all users. Quick discussion: establishing a dedicated capital project fund will enable the town to move forward with design, agency coordination, and construction of the necessary traffic control improvements. The fund will support both the minimum emergency vehicle flasher solution as well as the preferred full traffic signal as discussions with NCDOT progress. Staff recommendation: staff recommends the Board of Commissioners approve establishment of a capital project fund for traffic control improvements at North Arundel Avenue and Judd Street.
Director Fletcher, we will now take questions from the board. Any questions? Commissioner Roa? Good. Baxter? Commissioner Adams?
No, ma'am.
Davis?
Just one question. The time frame for this to be completed would look like what in comparison to completion of the fire department? I'm so sorry. The time frame, what would be the time frame that this would be completed in comparison?
Ideally before the fire station's finished, so we're looking at February time frame. January, February is what we're looking at.
Okay, thank you.
Everything goes through.
Mayor Pro Tem?
No questions at all.
All right. Hearing none. Motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2027-02.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
I have the next item.
You
as
have the
well.
next item.
Yes, ma'am. Approval of janitorial services contract, resolution 2027-01. The town of Zebulon requires continued reliable janitorial services to maintain clean, safe, and professional conditions in all government facilities. Citywide Solutions has consistently provided high-quality service as the current provider. Staff recommends awarding a new contract to Citywide Solutions of North Carolina based on their proven performance, familiarity with the town facilities, and competitive pricing. Background: the town Town government facilities require regular janitorial service to support daily operations and public use. Citywide Solutions has served as the town's janitorial services provider since July 2019 and has delivered consistent, satisfactory performance. Staff recommends entering into a new contract with Citywide to ensure continued continuity of service. Awarding the new contract to Citywide Solutions allows the town to maintain service continuity with the proven provider while securing favorable terms. This supports the town's commitment to effective stewardship of public buildings as Zebulon continues to grow. Staff recommendation: staff recommends that the board approve the janitorial services contract with Citywide Solutions for the period beginning August 2026 through June 30th, 2029, with the option of up to 2 optional one-year renewals subject to appropriation and satisfactory performance.
Thank you, Director Fletcher. Any comments, questions from the board?
So just to make sure I understand, there will not be a bidding process in the future, I mean, because they automatically get 2 years extension, is that what I
They
understand?
can get up to 2, but it's a 3-year contract with up to 2 extensions. So,
1
provided
year
they provide satisfactory service and we appropriate the funds every year, they will get the.
So what does it look like when we, just so I can gain knowledge on that, what does it look like in the future when that 3 years is up? What would that bidding process look like? Do you have any
We would
information
put out an RFP for bidding.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Yes, ma'am.
I think just a typo at the end. I think it has Manager Crosby signing, but is the mayor supposed to sign the resolutions? Or can she sign the resolution?
I think that I don't see that. I don't have it in front of me.
It'd be the mayor.
It's the mayor.
Okay.
Is that the
Just
resolution
a
or the
typo, yeah, it's a
contract?
typo in the resolution at the end.
So we'll get that. Yeah. Yeah, Katie, don't
So that'll be
sign.
fixed?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Roa. Yeah, well, I mean, Katie can't sign it, so it will have to be updated before it's signed. Thank you. Any other comments, questions from the board? All right, hearing none, is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2027-06
With the mayor signing it.
with the mayor's signature on the resolution.
Mr. Baxter, we have a motion. We have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Director Fletcher. All right. Manager's report. Manager Crosby?
I actually want to read a statement. Right. As the board is aware, Bobby has announced that he will be retiring at the end of August. I'm grateful that he has agreed to continue supporting the town through his transition. Over the last several months, our internal controls and financial operations have received an incredible amount of scrutiny. The scrutiny has placed the finance department, a department that typically does much of its work behind the scenes, squarely in the spotlight. Even as we continue the important work of strengthening our financial operations, I want to take a moment to acknowledge Bobby's commitment and service to the town of Zebulon. Bobby started his career with Zebulon and has been a stabilizing presence through a significant amount of organizational transition. In the midst of adversity, he continued to show up as a professional and a team player. The last 6 months have been particularly intense. A new town manager arrived in the middle of budget season. We have experienced a significant increase in public records requests focused on our financial operations. At the same time, the finance team has been operating with limited capacity while managing the day-to-day responsibilities necessary to keep the town running. On a personal level, I appreciate the many late nights Bobby spent helping me work through my first Zebulon budget. I also came to appreciate his dry sense of humor and the quiet strength that sometimes showed up when I least expected it. Leadership in local government is not easy. In many ways, leading a public organization carries the same pressures and responsibilities as leading a corporation, and sometimes more, without the same level of compensation. What makes up the difference for many of us is the satisfaction that comes from knowing our work serves the community and contributes to something larger than ourselves. Sometimes in the midst of a disagreement, scrutiny, and accountability, it is easy to forget that there are